Welcome back to the Deep Dive Presents Gout Gourmet. I'm really excited about today. Last week, we did dive into those myths around chicken breast, which is fascinating. This week, we're tackling another really big one, sugar. For anyone managing gout, hearing the doctor say, cut the sugar, well, it can feel like a life sentence, can't it? Like your diet is just doomed to be bland forever. But we promise there's good news and some important reality checks coming your way today. Seriously, if you're dealing with the pain, mobility problems from gout, or maybe you're caring for someone who is, figuring out the food part can feel just incredibly overwhelming. Our mission today, to give you practical, useful insights and really show you that a gout-friendly diet does not have to be boring or bland. We're going to get right to the bottom of sugar's actual effect on gout. Is it truly as bad as everyone claims, or is some of that maybe a bit of myth? We'll also find out that, well, not all sugars are the same. And those artificial sweeteners, maybe not the magic bullet you hope for.
We've got the latest 2025 research on sugar and gout. We'll unpack that artificial sweetener controversy and stick around for a really nice cooling summer recipe that'll satisfy that sweet tooth without, risking a flare-up. By the end of this, I promise you'll be the most informed person about sugar and gout at your next gathering.
That's absolutely right. And moving beyond that, that very simplistic cut all sugar advice is so crucial for managing gout effectively. Today, the goal is really to paint a clearer picture. Which sugars are the main concern? And maybe even more critical, why are they a problem? Understanding the actual science behind the headlines, well, that's what gives you the power to find practical solutions that work for you, going way beyond just, total elimination.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. When we talk about sugar and gout, is there one specific type we should be most worried about, or is it just sugar in general?
That's a really great starting point. And yes, there absolutely is a standout culprit here, and that's fructose. Now, all sugar should probably be eaten in moderation, obviously, but fructose. It's processed very differently in our bodies compared to, say, glucose. Glucose is mostly used directly by our cells for energy. It's like immediate fuel, right? And it has very little direct impact on your uric acid levels.
Okay, so glucose is the straightforward fuel.
Exactly. But fructose, that's where it gets tricky for gout sufferers. It's rapidly converted into uric acid within the body, much more readily than glucose. And that's what makes it so much more problematic if you're susceptible to gout or already have it.
Wow, okay, so there's a direct link there.
A very direct link between fructose coming in and uric acid going up. And that increase in uric acid is precisely what can trigger that awful, painful inflammation we associate with a gout attack. This is why things like sugary drinks loaded with high fructose corn syrup are such a big issue. They can spike your gout risk by potentially up to 85%.
85%, that's staggering.
It really is. And it's not just sodas. Even seemingly healthier things like fruit juices or eating a lot of very sweet fruits frequently can significantly raise the odds of a flare.
That's surprising about the fruit juice.
Yeah, because the fructose gets concentrated, And historically, this kind of fits. Gout was the disease of kings, remember? It wasn't just rich meats. It was also their access to sugary treats, loads of fruits, sweet wines, things common folk couldn't afford. Back in the 1700s, sugar was actually locked up. It was so valuable. So understanding this difference, glucose versus fructose, it's honestly fundamental. It lets you make smarter choices than just thinking, all sugar is bad.
Right. So fructose is the main player. But I hear there's new research out from 2025 that's adding more layers to this, challenging some assumptions.
Yes, exactly. What's really fascinating is how much individual factors play a role. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation. This pretty groundbreaking 2025 study looked at sugar intake, but also age and weight. And it found quite clearly that obese adults who are drinking sodas and getting over, say, 25 grams of added sugar daily from them had the highest risk of hyperuricemia, that's high uric acid.
Okay, so weight is a major factor.
A major factor. And age, too. The risk was particularly pronounced in the 45 to 65 age group. The study actually quantified it. Each 250 milliliter increase in those sugary drinks upped gout risk by about 17%. But, and this is key, that effect varied dramatically depending on BMI and age. So you could almost think of age and weight as your body's kind of unique sugar tolerance settings.
Sugar tolerance settings. I like that. It emphasizes the personal aspect.
It really does. It means a tailored approach is so much better than just a blanket rule for everyone. Your own physiology dictates your response.
Okay, that makes sense. But then what about artificial sweeteners? A lot of people turn to those thinking they're dodging the sugar bullet completely. Are they a safe bet for gout?
Yes, the artificial sweetener controversy, it's definitely a hot topic, and there have been some significant updates recently. Both the WHO and the FDA put out updated guidelines, this is early 2025, basically advising people to minimize artificial sweeteners, especially for children.
Minimize. Why? I thought the whole point was they didn't have sugar or calories.
Well, the direct link isn't there in the same way in fructose. They don't directly raise uric acid. But the concern now is more around, well, our gut microbiome. There's emerging evidence, including a pretty significant study published in Nature, showing that sweeteners like saccharin, sucralose, aspartame, even stevia can significantly alter the bacteria living in our gut
Onto our gut bacteria. How quickly?
within just 7 days of consumption, according to that study.
Wow. 7 days.
Yeah. And while, like I said, they don't spike uric acid directly, the disruption to the gut microbiome might indirectly contribute to broader metabolic dysfunction. And that can complicate gout management down the line. Think of it like your gut bacteria are a bit picky, maybe. And perhaps sticking closer to nature with moderation is the wiser path.
Picky gut bacteria. Okay, so artificial sweeteners aren't necessarily a free pass.
Yeah.
But it's not all bad news, right? You mentioned positive findings, too.
Absolutely. There's genuinely encouraging news, especially for people feeling really hemmed in by those old school, super restrictive gout diets. A really comprehensive clinical trial. It ran for 6 months with about 340 gout patients. It found something quite remarkable.
Okay, what did they find?
They found that following a Mediterranean diet pattern actually led to an average reduction in serum uric acid levels of about 18% compared to the standard low purine diets.
18% lower. Just from a Mediterranean-style diet.
Yes. And maybe even more importantly, the participants reported 43% fewer gout flares. 43%. And they felt better, too, higher quality of life scores.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
What's the key difference in that diet?
The emphasis is different. It's on whole fruits, but limited, maybe 1 or 2 servings a day. Lots of vegetables, good fats like olive oil, nuts. And because of that focus, it naturally limits the refined sugars and, crucially, the high fructose corn syrup. It wasn't about total restriction, but smart choices. Kind of makes you think those ancient Mediterranean folks were onto something, doesn't it?
Definitely. It suggests a more enjoyable, varied diet can actually be better for gout. That's huge for people who feel deprived.
Exactly. It raises that important question. What does this mean for patients feeling boxed in? It means variety and flavor are possible.
And wasn't there something about a medication discovery, too, a kind of accidental benefit?
Yes. Another really interesting development, it involves a class of drugs called SGLT2 inhibitors. They're typically used for type 2 diabetes. But a large meta-analysis looking at, I think, 62 different studies found these drugs also significantly lower serum uric acid levels.
So a diabetes drug lowers uric acid, too.
That's right. On average, around 0.6 milli-GDL lower, and one specific drug, empagliflozin, lowered it by nearly 0.8 milli-GDL. For patients who happen to have both type 2 diabetes and gout, this could be a fantastic 2 birds, 1 stone situation.
Wow. Managing both with one medication, potentially.
It's a possibility being explored. A great example of those sometimes accidental discoveries in medicine.
Okay, this is all fascinating research, but let's bring it down to the practical level. So what does this all mean for you, listening right now, trying to manage your gout day to day? How do you apply this without feeling totally lost or deprived? We've got some clear, actionable guidelines. Let's start with daily sugar targets for gout sufferers. First goal, keep your total added sugars under 25 grams per day. That's roughly 6 teaspoons. Think about sugars added to foods, not the ones naturally in fruit or milk.
Right. And specifically for fructose, you also want to aim for below 25 grams daily, and that's from all sources added sugars, fruit, everyththing.
Okay, under 25G added, under 25G total fructose, and the big one we keep mentioning.
Yeah.
Avoid high fructose corn syrup, HFCS, completely. Just steer clear.
Absolutely. It's just too problematic.
And for whole fruits, they have benefits, but also fructose. What's the guideline?
Limit whole fruits to about 1 to 2 cups per day. And try to favor the lower fructose choices. Things like berries, blueberries, strawberries, citrus fruits like oranges and grapefruit, cantaloupe, kiwi. Those are generally safer bets.
Got it. 1-2 cups, lower fructose options. Now, making these changes can feel daunting. Do you have a strategy to make it more manageable?
Yes, definitely. To make this sustainable, we suggest a simple, structured, 3-phase sugar reduction strategy. Think of it like easing into it. Phase 1, eliminate the obvious. This is for your first week or two. Focus on cutting out all the sugar-sweetened beverages, sodas, energy drinks, sweet tea, sweetened coffees, also the obvious desserts, candies, pastries. And start getting in the habit of reading labels, specifically looking for hidden high-fructose corn syrup. It pops up in surprising places, the target for this phase. Get your daily added sugar down to under 50 grams.
Okay, phase 1. Cut the obvious drinks and sweets. Check for HFCS. Aim for under 50 grams. What's next?
Phase 2. Address hidden sugars. This is for, say, week 3 and 4. Now you dig a bit deeper. Start checking labels on condiments, ketchup, BBQ sauce, salad dressings. They can be loaded with sugar. Be mindful of fruit juices and even smoothies they concentrate the sugars. Limit them. And switch to plain yogurt instead of the flavored kinds. You can always add your own fruit. Your target here is to get under 35 grams of added sugar daily.
Right. Phase 2. Condiments, juices, flavored yogurts. Under 35 grams.
And the final phase. Phase 3. Fine-tune fruit intake. This is weeks 5 and 6, bringing it all together. Now, you consciously limit your whole fruit intake to that 1 to 2 servings per day guideline. Really focus on choosing those lower fructose options we mentioned, berries, citrus, and importantly, avoid dried fruits and fruit concentrates. They are very concentrated in fructose. The ultimate goal here is to reach and maintain that optimal 25-gram daily added sugar limit we talked about.
Okay, that 3-phase approach sounds much less overwhelming than trying to do it all at once. Eliminate obvious, tackle hidden, fine-tune fruit. Makes sense. But what if you still want some sweetness? It's not just about cutting things out, right? What about smart sweetener substitutions?
Exactly. It's not about zero sweetness forever. It's about choosing wisely. We can think about these in tiers, maybe.
Okay, tiers. Let's hear tier 1.
Tier 1, natural options. Use these sparingly, but they can be okay. Things like raw honey. 1 teaspoon has about 6 grams of sugar, but it also contains some beneficial compounds, potentially anti-inflammatory ones. Pure maple syrup. A tablespoon has around 13 grams of sugar, quite a bit, but it's also rich in antioxidants compared to refined sugar. And stevia, the leaf extract specifically, 0 calories and seems to have minimal gut impact in small amounts, based on current research.
Okay, tier 1. Honey, maple syrup, stevia leaf. Sparingly. What's tier 2?
Tier 2, artificial options. Again, moderate use is key here, considering the gut microbiome concerns. Erythritol is one. It's a sugar alcohol, about 70% is sweet as sugar. Most people tolerate it well with minimal gut issues. Monk fruit sweetener, this one's natural, derived from a fruit, 0 calories, and currently has no known negative interactions with gout. And maybe sucralose if you find you tolerate it well personally, but use it minimally.
Here too. Erythritol, monk fruit, maybe minimal sucralose. Got it. And finally, tier 3. The definite no-goes.
Tier 3, avoid completely. These are the ones to really watch out for. Top of the list, agave nectar. Sounds healthy, right? But it can be up to 90% fructose. That's actually worse than high fructose corn syrup for uric acid.
Wow, 90% fructose in agave. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, definitely avoid that one. Also sorbitol. It's another sugar alcohol, but your body can actually convert some of it into fructose. So best to avoid it too. And of course, as we've hammered home, high fructose corn syrup, it's just a direct trigger. Read those labels.
Okay, this is incredibly helpful. Actionable steps, tiered sweeteners. It makes managing sugar feel possible. And for anyone listening who still thinks, ooh, but my food is going to be so bland now, we really want to challenge that. A gout-friendly diet can absolutely be delicious and satisfying. To prove it, we've got a fantastic recipe for you. Our summer berry chia pudding bowl.
Sounds refreshing.
It really is. And it's designed to be ultra gout-friendly. Why? First, it's very low in purines, under 50 milligrams per 100 grams, which is great. Second, it's packed with anti-inflammatory goodies. You've got chia seeds, those low-fructose berries we talked about, unsweetened coconut milk, vanilla. It relies on the natural sweetness from the whole fruit. And we use portion control to keep everything in check.
Smart. So what's in it?
Super simple. You need about 3 tablespoons of chia seeds, 1 cup of unsweetened coconut milk. Almond milk works too. Half a cup of mixed berries, focusing on blueberries and strawberries, then a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, maybe a tablespoon of chopped almonds for crunch, and a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, if you really feel you need a tiny bit more sweetness, you could add maybe half to 1 teaspoon of raw honey, but try it without first.
And how do you put it together? Sounds easy.
It is. You just mix the chia seeds, coconut milk, and vanilla in a jar or bowl. Whisk it really well to avoid clumps. Then cover it and pop it in the fridge for at least 4 hours, or even better, overnight. It needs time to thicken up. When you're ready to eat, gently mash about half of your berries. This creates a sort of natural compote. Then just layer the chia pudding with the fresh berries and the mashed berries. Top it off with those chopped almonds and a sprinkle of cinnamon. It's fantastic served chilled, especially on a warm day.
That sounds genuinely delicious
Yeah.
and healthy.
Totally. And here's a pro tip. This recipe is great for meal prep. You can easily make 3 servings at once in little jars. Perfect grab-and-go breakfast for the week. Plus, you get benefits beyond just being low sugar. The fiber from the chia seeds is amazing. It actually helps slow down the absorption of any sugars present. And you get about 8 grams of protein per serving, which helps keep you feeling full and satisfied. All that, and it comes in under 150 calories and around 12 grams of total carbs per serving.
That's brilliant. A sweet treat that's actually working for you instead of against you. And you know, it's funny, it ties back to history again. We mentioned those kings. But even before that, ancient Persian doctors, centuries ago, actually warned against eating too many sweet fruits. They had this idea that sweet things heated the blood and caused joint pain.
No way. So they kind of intuited the fructose link.
In a way, yeah. They were onto something, connecting excess sweetness with joint problems, even without knowing the exact mechanism of uric acid. It shows that this wisdom about moderation isn't entirely new. And think about those low-fructose fruits we recommend, like strawberries and kiwi. Back in ancient times, those were often considered rare delicacies, so you can be both fancy and flare-free.
I love that. Fancy and flare-free. That's a good motto.
And one more fun fact. Fructose is actually the only carbohydrate known to directly increase uric acid production in the body. Isn't that something?
The only one. So it's not like pasta or bread doing that directly.
Nope. Complex carbs don't have that direct uric acid pathway. It really highlights why focusing on fructose, especially from added sources like HFCS and sodas and processed foods, is so critical for gout management. It's different even from, say, eating a steak, which impacts purines, but not via this direct carb-to-uric acid route.
That distinction is so important. Okay, maybe a quick, fun way to remember this. How about a little joke?
Ooh, okay, hit me with it.
All right. Why did the jelly bean break up with the soda can?
Why?
Because it couldn't handle a relationship that was so high maintenance on uric acid.
That's pretty good. A little biochemistry humor. I like it. Hashtag outro.
Okay, so let's wrap this up and bring it all together. The core message today is pretty clear, isn't it? Less sugar, and especially less fructose, generally means a lower risk of gout flares. It's a significant lever you can pull.
Absolutely. Reducing that fructose load is key.
But, and this is maybe the most important part we want you to take away, managing gout does not mean you have to sacrifice all the joy and flavor in eating. That's just not true. With smart, informed choices, like understanding fructose, reading labels, trying that Mediterranean pattern, using substitutions wisely, enjoying recipes like the chia pudding, you can absolutely achieve happier joints without feeling miserable about your food. Flare-free is possible, and it can still be delicious.
Well said. It's about empowerment through knowledge.
Exactly. So make sure you subscribe to The Deep Dive Presents Gout Gourmet. We'll be back next week with another deep dive into topics that genuinely matter for your health and well-being. Thank you so much for joining us today and diving into this with us.
And remember, with every conscious choice you make about what you eat and drink, you're doing more than just managing gout. You're actively reclaiming your comfort, your mobility, and your overall vitality.